Hey everyone. Today I'd like to walk you through how you can use Level to define minimum standards for your endpoints and then alert on devices that deviate from those minimum standards. This is a really great use of custom fields. So to get started, let's go ahead and create some custom fields to track what our minimum standards are. So I'm going to add a new custom field here, and we're going to call this minimum RAM. Let's add another one for minimum CPU. Let's do that once more for disk space. And so now we need to define like what are these minimum values? So let's say we want at least 4 CPU cores, at least 8 gigs of RAM, and at least 100 gigs of disk space. So now we've defined these minimum values, and we can actually see those values are automatically inherited when we pull up a device. So we can see this as being pulled from our account level. You have the ability to override this at the device level or the group level. So right now we're just tracking standards. We're not actually alerting on anything yet. So the next step is to actually compare our custom fields to the values on the device. And to do that, we're going to use a script. So let's go ahead and create a new script. I'm going to call my script check standards. This is just going to be a PowerShell script. And I'm going to paste in one that we were using before. And you'll note here, we've actually hard coded these minimum values. Let's not do that. Let's pull in our custom fields. So down here, we have this variables button, and we can click minimum CPU, and it will insert that custom field variable for us. We'll do the same thing for RAM and the same thing for storage. So now we have a script that is checking, it's pulling in our custom field values, and it's checking the actual device and comparing if it meets our minimum standards. If it doesn't, it's going to alert with whatever that issue was. So now we have a script and we have the custom field, but we need to run this script on a regular basis. And for that, we're going to use a script-based monitor. So let's jump over to our policy section, and I'm going to pull up our global monitor. We're going to add a new one here, and we're going to call it check minimum standards. This is going to be a script-based monitor. We're going to fire a warning level alert. The script called it check standards. And if the output of that script contains alert, then there's some type of issue. I'm going to leave the frequency at checking every minute just so we can see the alerts come in real time and resolve in real time. But for your case, you would probably want to change that to check every day or every few hours. I'm going to turn on this auto resolve option. So if the RAM has been upgraded or the hard drive has been upgraded, then Level will automatically close the alert once it meets the minimum standards. So let's go ahead and add in that monitor. And we can now see that we are checking our minimum standards across every device that has these tags. We already see the alerts come in real time. You can expand the alerts to see what the issue is. So in this case, it's a disk space issue. Same thing here and here. All right, but this one, it's all three. So we're not meeting the CPU standards, we're not meeting the RAM standards or the hard drive standards. Now we could, of course, resolve this alert if we're okay with that. But what's going to happen is Level's just going to create it again, right? Because it still doesn't meet the standards that we've defined. So one neat thing is if you're okay with this device perhaps having lower standards than your other endpoints, you can actually override these custom fields just at this device level. So we could say, as long as it has 2 CPU cores, and as long as it has 4 gigs of RAM, and as long as it has 40 gigs of disk space, we are okay with that. And so now we've overridden this value, and you can already see that alert was immediately resolved, and it was auto-resolved. And that's because we've overridden those minimum standards. But just for this device, if we were to pull up our custom fields, you can still see we have the global um, values still defined. And if we pull up a different device like this Windows 11 device, we can see it's still inheriting these global values. I hope this is helpful and useful to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to support. Thanks.